सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। On this auspicious occasion of Pujya Gurudev's Jayanti, my humble prostrations to one and all. Today the whole world is going through a very bad patch of time. With every day thousands of people dying because of coronavirus. So there is a mood of negativity, of pessimism, of depression everywhere. So as a Chinmaya family member, as a responsible Chinmaya family member, what is our responsibility towards ourselves and towards the society? As a responsible Chinmaya family member, we have mainly two responsibilities. The first, responsibility to oneself. The second, responsibility to the society. What is our responsibility to ourselves? Let us be strong, let us be cheerful, let us be peaceful, let us be optimistic, let us be courageous. This is our responsibility to ourselves. This is the first responsibility. Let us radiate positivity. Let us be peaceful, courageous and cheerful. The second responsibility is towards the society. What is that responsibility? Whatever peace, whatever strength, whatever cheerfulness we have, let us instill these positive values in the hearts of everyone who come into our life. This is our second responsibility. Because everywhere in the society, generally people are so negative, so gloomy, with full of negative mood swings, with full of depression and stress. Even the doctors who are supposed to console others, even they release videos crying and weeping, panicking. So in such a situation, it is a responsibility of every Chinmaya family member to be an embodiment of peace and strength, and to give this peace and strength to everyone who come into our lives. This is our responsibility. So the first responsibility is be an embodiment of peace and strength. The second responsibility is give this peace and strength to everyone. Now the next question is, how can we be an embodiment of peace and strength? Please remember, Chinmaya Mission. What is the mission of Chinmaya Mission? The mission of Chinmaya Mission is dissemination of Vedantic knowledge, the scriptural knowledge, to the world through Jnana Yajnas and through study classes. The mission of Chinmaya Mission is dissemination of spiritual knowledge. So every Chinmaya family member must have that Vedantic knowledge. And it is this knowledge which is going to give us strength, which is going to give us solace, which is going to give us peace. Every Chinmaya family member should be an embodiment of that strength through Vedantic knowledge. For this, the best role model for us is Pujya Gurudev. Even at the age of 76, 77, in the last years of his lifespan, even when the heart was functioning only 18%, Pujya Gurudev was constantly serving the society 18 hours a day. Look at this. Even when the heart is functioning only 18%, Gurudev was serving the world with tireless enthusiasm for 18 hours a day. From where did this enthusiasm, this strength, where did Gurudev get it? Pujya Gurudev got it from the knowledge of the scriptures. And this knowledge of the scripture is what he has given to all of us. So where will the strength come from? The strength has to come from the knowledge, the Vedantic knowledge which we assimilate through our study, through our meditation, through our prayer, etc. So all of us, we have two responsibilities. In this current scenario, where the world is going through a very bad patch of time, humanity is in troubled times, we can say. We have two responsibilities. One is be an embodiment of peace and strength, and the second is let us give this peace and strength to everyone. This will be the greatest service we can do to humanity in this modern times. So the strength has to come from Vedantic knowledge. So naturally a question comes, what is this Vedantic knowledge? So we all have studied this Vedantic knowledge. In one line, if we can say, it is nothing but the knowledge that I am not this physical body, I am the pure consciousness. This is Vedantic knowledge. I am not this perishable physical body, I am the imperishable consciousness. This in essence is Vedantic knowledge. And what is the nature of this consciousness? This consciousness is infinite. This consciousness is absolutely perfect. This consciousness is immortal. This consciousness is Sat, Chit, Ananda Swarupa. This consciousness is bliss absolute. So everything that we crave in this world, this consciousness has it. And what is this consciousness? This consciousness is the very self in me. It is a very awareness in me. It is a very nature of mine. It is the very I in me. It is the very witness, the very observer in me. It is my own higher nature. So what does Upanishad say? O Amritasya Putraha, O children of immortality, Uttishtata Jagrata, arise, awake to this great knowledge. You are not this perishable body, you are the infinite self. You are the all-perfect self, you are the immortal self. Know this, wake up. The purpose of life is only to know this reality. This is what all the scriptures declare. What happens when I identify with this physical body? When I identify with this perishable, imperfect physical body, the properties of the body appear to be my properties. whatever I identify with, the properties of that appear to be my property. Now, what is this body? What are the properties of this body? This body is Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. These are the properties. Body has birth, body has death, body has limitations, body will have disease, body will have old age. So when I identify with such an imperfect body, what will be my experience? My experience will not be the perfection of consciousness. My experience will be the imperfections of this body. Now, will I be happy with this imperfection? No. I cannot be happy with this imperfection because my nature is perfection. And because my nature is perfection, I cannot tolerate imperfection. But unfortunately, everything regarding the body is imperfect. So what happens? I see this imperfect body growing, decaying and dying. And because of its identification, I experience as though it is happening to me. So what happens when I helplessly see my body grow, decay and die? What happens? I go through negative mood swings. All kind of depression come to me. I go through very anxiety, fear, tension, non-acceptance. I am not able to accept the imperfections of this body. Because I love perfection. I love perfection because my nature is perfection, which I don't know. I thought this body is my nature, but everything regarding the body is imperfect. And when I see myself imperfect, I am not able to accept it. I am not able to take it. Mind entertains all kinds of negative thoughts. I go into depression. There is fear, anxiety, etc. regarding the protection of the body. I give too much of importance to this body because I think without this body, I have no existence. If the body is dead, I am dead. And I don't want to become non-existent because existence is my nature. So I cannot accept my non-existence. So therefore, when I see in front of my eyes my own body decaying and dying and going through all kinds of disease, I am not able to accept it. And that leads to all kinds of mental, psychological disorders. This is what happens when I identify with the body. So what is the solution? Vedanta says the solution is only one. Disidentify from what you are not. Identify with what you are. Disidentify from the imperfect BMI. Identify yourself with a perfect consciousness. And then what happens? The law of life is whatever you pay attention to, that you will experience. If your attention is upon the perishable body, then you will experience the imperfect properties of the body. Namely, birth, death, old age, disease. But if your attention is upon the perfect consciousness, you will start experiencing the perfection of consciousness. And what are the properties of consciousness? It is peaceful. It is tranquil, tranquility, peace, immortality, infinity, perfection. These are all the properties of consciousness. And when will I experience it? The moment I withdraw my attention from the body and fix my attention to consciousness, when I start giving importance to consciousness, when I start giving priority to consciousness, when I start paying attention to consciousness, then I start experiencing the properties of consciousness. And when I start experiencing the properties of consciousness, namely bliss, peace, contentment, etc., my mind becomes a healthy mind because I start experiencing everything wonderful about myself. So such a mind becomes a peaceful mind, contented mind, strong mind, cheerful mind. Every Chinmaya family member must cultivate such a mind through Vedantic Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. by listening to the scriptures, by reflecting upon the statements of the scriptures, and by meditating constantly upon these scriptural statements, we must cultivate this healthy state of mind. This is the first responsibility of every Chinmaya family member. No doubt you must take COVID vaccine, but along with it, you must also take Vedantic vaccine. What is Vedantic vaccine? Constant Shravana Manana Nidhyasana. At least twice every day, this dose has to be taken, Vedantic dose. Then what will happen? You will be immunized. This is called as Vedantic immunization. The COVID vaccine can make you immune at the physical level. Vedantic vaccine will make you immune at the mental level. Whatever the negativities that are floating around in the world, in the social media, nothing can affect you. The fear, stress, strain, worry, anxiety, depression, negativity, nothing will touch you if you regularly take this vaccine called Vedantic vaccine. Every day, twice, morning and evening. The best part is this vaccine has got no side effects. This vaccine, you don't have to go to hospitals. You don't have to depend on anyone. Sitting in your own bedroom, you can take this vaccine. And it is free of cost. Anyone can take it. It is available everywhere at all times. Nowadays you have wonderful talks on Vedanta in social media. Make use of it. Then you are immunizing yourself through this Vedanta vaccine. This is the primary responsibility of every Chinmaya family member. Now once you have become strong, once you are relatively peaceful and stable, you are cheerful, then what is your responsibility? The second responsibility is give this peace and strength to others. So here comes a person totally dejected. This person comes to you, very much depressed. And why is he depressed? He is depressed because more than 10 hours he is in front of the television, always updating himself with the COVID latest news. All the time watching news channels. And now what is present in all these TV news channels? Everywhere you will find sensational news. The TV news channels, in order to get more TRP, in order to get more viewership, they know how to get more viewership. The best way is to create sensation. Give sensational news. And generally a sensational news is a negative news. And people are interested in sensation, so deliberately they give all these kind of news. So what happens to a person who is constantly exposed, more than 10 hours a day, when he is constantly exposed to such negative news, his mind becomes filled with negativity. You open any TV news channel nowadays, this is what is seen everywhere. Hospitals are overcrowded, cremation grounds are overcrowded, thousands of bodies are getting burnt, shortage of vaccines, shortage of oxygen cylinders, and people are dying on the road without any medical care. And the hospital authorities are exploiting the patients for their helplessness. These are all the things which you will find in the news channels. And when you are constantly exposed to such negativities, what will happen to the mind? Such a mind exposed to negativity becomes a negative mind, becomes a depressed mind. And this is what is happening to all the people world over. Generally, people are depressed in the modern times because of constant exposure to such unhealthy news. Out of 100, only 1 or 2 people are dying. as far as the coronavirus is concerned. Only 1 or 2 people, but the media will focus only these 1 or 2 people. They will not focus the 98% people who are cured and who have recovered. No, they will focus only upon these 1 or 2 people. And they will blow it out of proportion. And when you see the news, it appears as though the entire humanity is going to be wiped out from the surface of the planet. This is what the feeling you get when you see such news. A very tragic situation. There is only one black dot in the entire white sheet. But where our attention goes, our attention doesn't go to that whiteness of the sheet, our attention goes to that small black dot on the sheet. This is the nature of the human mind. But then what happens? The mind becomes negative. Mind gets into negative mood swings. We have to be very, very careful. So such a person who has been exposed to all this, who is totally depressed, he comes to you. Then what is our responsibility as a Chinmaya family member? Our responsibility is to pump in positivity into him through the help of the scriptures. So what should we do? We should say, my dear friend, come here. So this person is telling everything, whatever he has seen, whatever he has heard in the social media, in the TV, etc. Very much depressed, very much dejected. So to such a person, what should we say? Say, my dear friend, please understand one thing. The whole world is taken care not by the bureaucrats, not by the superpowers of this world, not by the politicians. This world is taken care by an omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent Lord. Don't forget this. There is somebody who is taking care of this world. Never forget this. Bhayat asyagnis tapati bhayat tapati suryah bhayat indrascha vayuscha mrityur dhavati panchamaha. Kathopanishad says. Out of his fear, the sun and the moon and the 5 elements, everything, all the cosmic forces, they function out of fear of him. In this world, everything happens by his command, by his knowledge. So this world is beautifully taken care by an all-knowing God. Never forget this. And who is this Lord? Pitahamasya jagato mata dhata pitamaha. This Lord is the father and the mother, the very cause of this creation. Gatir bharta prabhu sakshi nivasa sharanam suhrta prabhavav pralayasthanam nidhanam bijam avyayam. Bhagavan is introducing himself in Bhagavad Gita. He is the very source of this world. He is the very sustenance of this world. He is the place where everything dissolves also. He is the Lord who is the very goal of human existence. He is the very refuge. Everything happens in him. So when such a Lord is taking care of this world, why are you worrying? And that Lord, like a father and mother loving their only child, in the same way that Bhagavan is loving every being in this creation. He is paying total attention to every little creature in this creation. He is the very antaryami in all of us. He knows everything. He is meeting all our needs. He is our well-wisher. When such a wonderful Bhagavan who has infinite love for us, who has unconditional love for us, when such a Bhagavan is taking care of all of us with infinite care and love, what is there to fear? Why are you so depressed? Yes, I can understand why you are depressed, because you have done a big mistake. And that big mistake is you have enough time, hours and hours together, you sit in front of this stupid TV and fill your head with all kind of garbage. but you have no time for your Creator. This is the mistake you are doing. You have no time for the Lord who has created you. You have time for all the other worldly junk. And that is why your mind is disturbed. So there is only one way in which you can gain peace, and that is turn to the Lord, turn to your Creator, turn to your true father and mother. Turn to that Lord. And what happens when you turn to that Lord? Bhagavan promises in Bhagavad Gita, Name bhakta pranashyati. My devotee shall never perish. Machitta sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishasi. Whatever be the difficulties, whatever be the challenges, if you fix your mind upon me, you will be easily able to overcome all of them. This is Bhagavan's promise. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tva sarva papebhyo moksheshyami ma shuchaha. Don't grieve. Fix your attention upon me. Surrender unto me. You will be free from all kinds of disturbance of the mind. This is the promise of the Lord. And what is the mistake we are doing? Instead of fixing the mind in that supreme, loving, compassionate Lord, we fix the mind upon the world. And what is the nature of the world? Continuous flux, continuous change, continuous unpredictability, death and decay. This is the nature of the world. So what should happen when we fix our mind upon the world? Naturally, the mind should get disturbed. Wherever the mind is, the property of that, the mind will absorb. Turbulence is the nature of the world. So when I fix my mind into the world, mind becomes turbulent. Tranquility is the nature of the Lord. So when I fix my mind upon the Lord, tranquility will be my experience. So what is the mistake we do? Instead of fixing the mind upon the Lord, which is the very consciousness in us, we fix the mind upon the world. This is the mistake. So my dear friend, don't do this mistake again. I don't say don't watch news or TV, etc. No, maximum half an hour enough, but rest of the time your mind should be upon the Lord. You must be aware of what is happening in the world, but don't give too much importance to the world. Because the whole world rests in your mind, and the mind rests in consciousness. Consciousness is the very substratum upon which everything rests. So the maximum importance has to be given to the Lord, the very consciousness in you. In life, maximum importance is not to be given to the world, because it is a dependent world. It depends on consciousness for its existence. So maximum importance should be given to the Lord in you, who is sustaining the whole world, who is sustaining your body, mind, intellect, everything. The ultimate sustainer. Give importance to that, and peace and tranquility will be your experience. That Bhagavan is Ananda Swarupa, he is Satchit Ananda Swarupa. The moment you shift your attention to that consciousness, your experience will be Ananda. In this way, you must speak to the person who comes to you with a disturbed mind. This is a responsibility of every Chinmaya family member. So that person comes to you, speaks for some half an hour, and there is so much of joy, so much of relief, there is so much of light-heartedness he will feel. Because here is somebody who is guiding him in the right direction. He will be so happy. So he will be going back. With a heavy heart he came to you, but with a light heart he goes back. With lot of relief and happiness he goes back. This is the greatest service which a Chinmaya family member should do to the society. This is the need of the hour. And there are others who are so worried about death. Thousands and thousands of people are dying every day because of COVID. So what should be your advice to them when such a person comes with so much of fear and worry and anxiety? Because some of that person's near and dear ones are dying or are dead. When such a person comes to you, what should be your guidance and advice? You say, my dear friend, come here. See what Bhagavad Gita says. See, in 2nd chapter, the entire Bhagavad Gita starts with this verse. What is that verse? Verse number 11. Bhagavan says, Gatasun agatasuncha na anushocanti panditaha. The wise people, they never grieve about dying or dead. See? So what is the sign of wisdom? The sign of wisdom is absolute peace. Na anushocanti. There is no shoka. Absence of shoka is a sign of wisdom. Shoka related to the dying or the dead. Never grieve over these. Why? Because in reality there is nothing called death. Death is an illusion. This is how Bhagavad Gita starts. So here is Arjuna crying and weeping, telling Bhagavan, "Oh Lord, after this war all these people will die." It is such a tragic situation. So Arjuna was totally sorrow stricken. It is at that time that Bhagavan says, these are the opening verses of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan says, "Oh Arjuna, you think they are all going to die? Never. All these kings and the soldiers, in the past also they were there. In the present also they are there. In the future also they will be there. Yes, everybody dies, but nobody dies." See the statement. Everybody has to die today or tomorrow, but nobody dies. Why? Because we are different from the body. Bhagavan, how is it that we are different from the body? So there is a beautiful verse in the 2nd chapter where Bhagavan says, "Arjuna, this body is like the dress which we wear. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grunhati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sanyati navani dehi." Arjuna, this body is like a dress. So what will you do when the dress has become old and worn out? You will take a new dress, isn't it? Now when you take a new dress, do you celebrate or you become dejected? Or you celebrate because it's a joy, it's a joyous thing. You are getting a new body, new dress. In the same way, when the body becomes old and worn out, that body is replaced by a new one by the Lord Himself out of His love and compassion. So what is death? Death is nothing but giving up the old body and taking up a new body. That's all. So what is death? It is nothing but giving up the old body so that in the future you can get a new body. So you must celebrate or you must be sad. It is something to celebrate because Bhagavan is giving new opportunity for us to evolve in new bodies. When the body becomes old, He replaces the old body with a new body. So it is something to celebrate. It is something to be happy about. This is the way the whole thing has to be analyzed. Now an interesting thing. The wearer of the body, the wearer of the dress is different from the dress. The owner of the dress is different from the dress. The user of the dress is different from the dress. The possessor of the dress is different from the dress. The observer of the dress is different from the dress. In the same way, the user of the body is different from the body. The possessor of the body is different from the body. The observer of the body is different from the body. What does it mean? It means I am not this body. It's a great conclusion. So what does it mean? Death of the body doesn't mean my death. My existence continues even though the physical body is dead. This is what Bhagavan says. Arjuna, nobody is going to die. Physical body has to die, but the existence of each and every individual will continue in the future also. So there is nothing to grieve because nobody dies. Okay, then what happens after the drop of physical body? After the drop of physical body, if that person has done noble deeds in life while living, as Pujya Gurudev used to say in the Chinmaya Mission pledge, living a life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what I consume and giving more than what we take. If this is the way the person has lived, a life of sacrifice and service, a life of righteousness, a life of doing good to everyone, a life of bowing down to the teachers, to the elders, to the parents, to the gurus, serving everyone lovingly, in a spirit of cooperation, without ego and egocentric desires. If this is the way the person has lived, then Bhagavan says, Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Bhagavan says, such a person who is a doer of noble deeds, he will never attain durgati, evil fate. After death also, after leaving the physical body also, he will go to the higher planes. Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashwati samaha shuchinam srimatam gehe yoga bhrashto vijayate. Bhagavan says, such a person, when he leaves the body, where does he go? He goes to the world of those people who are the doers of punya. Punya kritam lokan, it is said. In short, he goes to heaven. So after death also there is nothing. He is going to continue the blissful living which he was having in this world. He goes to the higher worlds, the heavens, where there for thousands and thousands of years he experienced bliss, heavenly bliss. So therefore, what is there to grieve after death? Now let me tell one very interesting thing. You are happy after death than before death. Why? Because after death, you don't have this Sthula Sharira, there is only Sukshma Sharira. Now just imagine the joy of not having physical body. All our problems are because of physical body only. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, everything belongs to physical body. So what happens when you leave the physical body? Leaving the physical body means no body at all. No body means what? No head, therefore no headache. No stomach, so therefore no stomach ache. No knee, so therefore no knee pain. No heart, therefore no heart attack. Just imagine, there is no possibility in which any disease can attack you. What a wonderful thing. No hunger, no thirst, no old age, because they are all the properties of the body. So tell me, who is happy? The one who is living in the physical body or the one who has left the physical body? These are all the statements of the scripture. So the person who has left the physical body is happier, exactly like the one who is in deep sleep is happier than the one who is in waking state. After death, there is only Sukshma Sharira, there is no Sthula Sharira, so that person is happier because all the physical problems are gone. But if the Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body, which is nothing but our thoughts, which is nothing but the mind intellect equipment, if we have trained our mind in all noble virtues of life, like compassion, humility, tolerance, service, kindness, straightforwardness, honesty, if we train our mind in all noble virtues of life, then such a virtuous mind will be a peaceful mind. Such a virtuous mind will be a cheerful mind. So in the company of such a mind, will we be happy or will we be sad? We will always be happy. In fact, that is true while living also. Truly speaking, we are not living in this world, we are living in our mental plane. A person may be living in a posh bungalow with all comforts, luxuries and facilities, but if his mind is disturbed, is he happy or miserable? He is miserable. So you may be living in a posh surrounding, very conducive surrounding, but if the mind is disturbed, you are unhappy. You may be living in a poor man's hut, but if the mind is peaceful, you are in heaven. If the mind is disturbed, you are in hell. So truly speaking, it is the mind which decides whether we are in heaven or hell. So if you have lived a noble life and then after leaving the body, where will you go? Naturally, you will go to heaven. Going to heaven means what? You will continue to experience the peaceful state of mind because it is the mind which comes along with you, not the physical body. So what is your experience after death? Your experience will be happiness alone, even after death. So then what is there to grieve? And this is how Bhagavan inspires Arjuna. Arjuna was very sad. Arjuna said, Bhagavan, I am in a lose-lose situation before the war. If we lose the war, then naturally it is a losing. But even if we win the war, it is a losing situation because I have to kill all my near and dear ones. Killing all my near and dear ones means what? It is nothing but tragedy and sorrow. So what is the use of having kingdom after killing my near and dear ones? So therefore, it is a lose-lose situation. This is what Arjuna said. It is a hopeless situation. And then Arjuna was crying and weeping. Bhagavan said, Arjuna, this is not a lose-lose situation, it is a win-win situation. Hato va prapsasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim, Bhagavan said. Arjuna, suppose you are dead, then you will go to heaven. And if you win the war, then you will enjoy this worldly kingdom. In both the cases, you are going to enjoy. And everybody is going to enjoy. Those who are dead, they will enjoy the heavenly kingdom. Those who win, they enjoy the worldly kingdom. So it is, everything is only enjoyment. So in what way there is any cause for any grief? It's a win-win situation. Now look at this way in which Bhagavan has analyzed the whole situation. Bhagavan is smiling because for him the whole situation is nothing but positive. Arjuna is crying because according to him the whole situation is negative. One has an optimistic view, the other has a pessimistic view. The situation remaining the same. Now this is what we have to learn. Whatever be the situation we are in, let us try to think in the positive way. Let us not drown in the negativity because we are incapable of thinking. Now we have this COVID situation. If we survive COVID, we will enjoy the worldly plane. Try to think in terms of Bhagavan's way. If we survive COVID, we will enjoy the worldly plane. If we succumb to COVID, we will enjoy the heavenly plane. That's all. But yes, we must be confident enough about all the good work that we do while living. This is our responsibility. Only such a person will have the confidence even to die. Death can do nothing to me because I have done enough good thing. I have lived a dharmic life, so therefore death can do nothing to me. It can never snatch away from me my peace of mind. This confidence comes to a person who lives a righteous living. And now in Bhagavad Gita there is a beautiful thing which Bhagavan says. Bhagavan says, Arjuna, in case you are able to die by fixing your mind upon me, then you will reach me, you will become one with me. It's a wonderful thing which Bhagavan says. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaf prayati sa madbhavam yati nastyatra samshayaha. This is a wonderful opportunity. At the time of death, if we can fix our mind at the feet of the Lord, then Bhagavan says, such a person reaches me, he becomes one with me. There is no doubt about it. Because that is the law. The law is yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tameveti kaunteya sadatad bhava bhavitaha. The law of nature is at the time of death, whatever a person thinks, he goes there. So at the time of death, if a person remembers me, he comes to me, says Bhagavan. So what should we do? When we are alive, when we are healthy, constantly let us remember the Lord. Let us make it a habit. Let us cultivate this habit in the mind to remember the Lord. That's why Bhagavan says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha mayyarpita mano buddhihi mame vishyasi asamshayam. Therefore, all the time remember me and perform your duties in the world. So at the time of death, you will be effortlessly, spontaneously, you will be able to fix your mind upon me and thus you will reach me, Bhagavan says. So this is the best way of living. Fixing the mind upon the Lord and performing all our duties. And we have lots of Mahatmas who have lived this way and who have shown how to live and how to die. How effortlessly, how cheerfully, how wholeheartedly they accepted death without any kind of fear. Taponji Maharaj, the way he left his body, in his old age he was unwell. So Pujya Gurudev went to Swami Taponji Maharaj and said, "Oh Gurudev, I am ready to give you the best medical facility. Please come down with me. I have best doctors and best hospitals." What did Taponji Maharaj say? He never came down from the Himalayas. He said, "Oh Chinmaya, why should I extend my stay in this cage of flesh and bones?" This is what he said. On the other side, Bhagavan with the outstretched hands is ready to welcome me, to invite me and to make me one with him. Bhagavan is waiting there for such a long time. Why should I extend my stay in this cage of flesh and bones? This is what Taponji Maharaj said to Pujya Gurudev. Just imagine. Here is a person who is cheerfully welcoming death, not out of fear. Same thing with Ramana Maharshi also. Even when he was suffering from cancer, he was absolutely cheerful. Somebody asked, "Bhagavan, you are leaving us." Bhagavan said, "How can I ever leave you? I am the very self in you. How can I ever leave you? I can never leave anyone." See that? Cheerful. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also, very cheerful, playing in the lap of his Divine Mother, even when he was diagnosed with cancer. No fear at all. It is said, after his death, Sharda Mata was crying unconsolably. At that time, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa appeared and said, "Amma, why are you crying? Death is nothing but going from one room to the other, that's all. There is nothing called death. I am always here." And when Sharda Mata heard this, she was totally consoled. See, all these Mahatmas have shown us how to face death, how to live life and how to face death. Let us follow the path of these Mahatmas. So as a Chinmaya family member, we have two responsibilities. Number one, let us be an embodiment of peace, of strength, of courage, of cheerfulness. This is number one. And once we have gained all these virtues, let us instill these virtues in the hearts of everyone who comes in contact with us. In the 18th chapter, Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, anyone who gives this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to others, such a person is my greatest devotee. And this giving knowledge, this disseminating knowledge to others, this will be considered the greatest worship, Bhagavan says. So this is what we have to do. Whoever is completely drowned in negativity, in pessimism, in stress, in depression, let us pull them out with the help of this knowledge, with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Let us do this. This is the greatest service we can do to humanity. In this regard, I sincerely invoke the grace of the Lord and the blessings of Pujya Gurudev and the entire Guru Parampara. May we all become an embodiment of strength, and may we all give this strength to everyone who needs it. Hari Om Tat Sat.
परमेश्वर नमो नमो, हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो, गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो। भावातीता भाग्य विधाता, भावातीता भावातीता भाग्यविधाता भवभयहरण नमो नमो भावातीता भाग्यविधाता भवभयहरण नमो नमो त्रिगुणातीता नमो नमो आनन्दरूपा नमो नमो त्रिगुणातीता नमो नमो आनन्दरूपा नमो नमो हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो गुरुदेवा